Hey guys, Sean Zine, the host for the Network Marketing Insider, where I bring on guests that are involved in network, affiliate, multi-level marketing. I've also had those that are involved with crypto, with coin creation on the Algorand blockchain. And now I've been actually bringing and broadening and getting involved with Skool owners and Skool affiliates. And we're talking to them to pick their brain, find out what's working, what's not working, what they, how they found Skool. And I found why I started going down this path is to help those that are quitting. A lot of people is joining Skool and they're opening up a school, not knowing how to really do it, and they just quit a month later. That's what I want to help. That's where I see a void, and that's where I wanted to make sure if you're watching us on the website or the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment. The least you could do is hashtag live or hashtag replay, or comment where you're watching from. Any questions throughout, more than happy to drop it in there. And then don't forget to hit the share button. If you're listening to us on the audio, on Spotify, Amazon, just give us a review at the end. And the most important thing is I want you to go to the description and have a connection call with my guest so you can continue learning about what they're doing and building a relationship. That's the goal of why I do these things as well. So let me bring out my next guest. We have Andrew. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Hi, Sean. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for taking some time and getting to know. I always been doing this recently, having connection calls. Some people call them discovery calls, and kind of leading into a recording for a podcast, because there's so much value in conversations that get lost. And I want to not lose it and help other people that are out there in this world. So I always ask, who are you? Go into who you are, what you would do in a networking function, get to know each other, and then also why and how. Let's start with how did you get started with Skool?
Sure. So I'm an attorney and I help people with pretty much all types of contracts, drafting, review, and negotiation, primarily for startups and online businesses. But I also help contractors, engineers, and more businesses like that as well. Reason I got started on Skool, I follow Alex Hormozy a lot. I honestly bought all of his books, and he pitches it a lot. So at one point I decided to check it out. When I first went on it, it seemed interesting, but I didn't really understand how to incorporate it into my business and what I was doing. To me, at least at first, it seemed like it was good for people that already had an audience but didn't know how to monetize an audience. Whereas I felt like I had the opposite problem of I kind of knew how to make money and sell, but I didn't know how to get an audience. So I felt like initially it wasn't for me. I built up my practice initially through like freelancing, referral systems, repeat clients, etc. So I kind of bypassed and neglected the marketing, community building aspect of building a business for a while. So, when I first hopped on there, I was thinking, this isn't really for me. I don't see how I could use this. And I guess fast forward to now, the reason I went back into it and how I'm looking to build it now is first off, I'm working more on my kind of marketing, branding, content creation skills that I kind of neglected as I built the business through freelancing, referrals, etc. But also, rather than build out a traditional law firm, I want to keep my like tailored legal and consulting services one-to-one and build out like a one-to-many subscription service through Skool where people can learn the basics of, not legal advice, but how to, put key terms in writing for agreements, your client proposals, scope of work, and, helping with resolving disputes and all that type of stuff for new business owners that don't necessarily have the funds to secure a one-to-one lawyer for full time, but want to learn the basics of drafting agreements and dispute resolution, instead of just plugging it into ChatGPT and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are doing that. You bring up something that you said earlier, that when you came into Skool, and I highly recommend Alex Hermosi, like get his books, take a look at what he's doing, look at his content. But I want to go back to when you were first started with Skool. You were mentioning like, oh, I don't know, this is going to work out. What allowed you to continue?
Well, I mean, it really was more like I initially downloaded it and then didn't honestly think it was that applicable to me.
Right.
It wasn't really like I gave up. It was more like I'm trying to grow a business. Here's a potential tool. I don't see how this is useful. And then I kind of circled back when I realized that I wanted to build out a community as like kind of my base offering, like below my one-to-one service, right? And there's other platforms you could do that, like Discord, Telegram, or whatever. But I think Skool is way better at those, at a lot of different things in terms of community building and also monetizing it. So that's kind of when it clicked for me, and I was kind of like, oh, I could use it for this. And I started to learn more about it and understand it, and, still kind of a beginner in using it, but definitely getting a lot better.
Yeah, it takes time. It's not the traditional, what everyone's used to is the flipping, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
Everyone's just flipping. There's algorithm. There's things thrown at you because of advertising that's happening inside the community, inside the platform. But Skool is totally different as far as it's you as the owner of a community. You control everything. You control the culture. And that's what people don't understand. And it's up to the creator to create that culture, to make people want to come back, and that's the tricky part, that people are like, oh, this is not like the other stuff, like the ones you mentioned. They don't even help you how to do it on those platforms either.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could start as a hobby for $9, or you can go all balls to the wall. What I did is the pro. What I found, I love recurring income. I'm in the insurance space as well. And I like that renewals. I like if they pay a policy, their premium, I get a commission. Well, in Skool, same thing. You can't get that on the hobby one. You have to put all the content out there, and people have to pay you. It comes to you. You could set up something, but where you scale is when you bring in other people. And then I give 50%. People are like, well, that's high. I'm like, we're partnering with people. I think if people are out there and I teach them how to interact, promote, recruit, it's going to help me. I can get higher up. If I have 20 people, those 20 bring in 2. We just really multiplied what we are doing in that community without me doing all the work.
Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely makes sense. It's, you're talking about the kind of affiliate benefit of having the pro program, right? And I think that's extremely useful in growing your school or growing any type of business. I also think it's funny when people that don't know anything about growing a business just hear affiliate marketing and then think it's a pyramid scheme, even though Amazon and, every major company does some form of it. And then they'll send you like a referral link to like a high yield savings account right after they say that. And, it's pretty funny. But yeah, no, I think that's a good feature in the pro plan for sure. I kind of just switched my community to paid and just working on building out that, but that's definitely something I want to utilize in the future, and having people help me do that, as well as having good admins and paralegals help me kind of moderate the content in there.
When you build a community out, what has been helpful for me and for many other owners I've found is if you hang out in Skoolers, if you're in the Skoolers platform, in that group, you can find great people, because the ones you want to bring in, you need to have a good mix of those that are outside of Skool, never heard of it, they don't know about it, but you need people that are a good 10 people. That's the goal, 10 that are from Skool, have been kind of indoctrinated. They understand the whole play of what is no algorithm. You have to actually do comments that are meaningful instead of just an emoji or just liking stuff all the time. You have to be you. You have to give information. You got to build relationships. And that's what's missing on the other platforms. In Skool, do you do this often? Do you have Zoom calls that you're meeting one-on-one networking piece in Skool yet? Or is this the first one you've done?
Not many. I've done some. I've done another podcast as well, but this type of networking has all been through people I've met through Skool more than anything else. And yeah, like you said, the Schoolers community is a good place to post and connect with people.
And all you have to do is just drop, you're commenting stuff to other people. And as long as your profile has your link to your community or a way of them contacting you, you could set something up in the direct message. You can talk to them. They can join your community. That's what Hermosi and the other owner, they want. Sam Evans, they want everyone building relationships, because it goes back to the old way of business. Just like being an attorney, in that space you're meeting, you're shaking hands. This can scale everything because it's global. There's people all over the world that can be inside your community learning from you, and those that are inside your community too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I could definitely be doing more kind of one-on-one connections with people I comment on within Schoolers. I've definitely been posting and commenting a lot, but I haven't been really following up much with people that I've had comments or conversations with. And I think that's definitely something that is a good thing to do.
Here's a tip, and I share this in my community. And you brought up, using AI like chat or Gemini or whatever people are using. I like both of them. I go back and forth with them. If you ask either one to create a post that is non-self-serving, non-self-promoting, and go into whatever you want to talk about, that will be allowed in Schoolers. If you go in there and just type away and come up with some creative thing, you're going to have it self-serving. It's going to be promoting something, and boom, right away, it gets out. They kick it, they delete it. So that's where I try to do once a week to get some nice engagement. I've had almost 500 comments, and you can't get that on Facebook today. The algorithm is all out of whack.
Yeah.
And I messed up because what happened? There was I hit a limit. You have 10 messages that you can connect with someone if they're not, in that community for 1 week. And I hit 10 and I couldn't do any more DMs. I'm like, and I made a mistake and I won't ever do it again. But I said, hey, we should connect. And that's all I said. And then later on, I said, hey, we should connect, to another comment. And then another one, I said, hey, hit me up in a DM. Boom, post down, off. I was self-serving. That's what you got to be careful of. Now, being an attorney, are a lot of your attorney friends, do they have their own schools as well?
No, pretty much no one. And I've looked through I've looked through Skool, and there's like attorney groups for attorneys together to work on like marketing, but I don't see at least many that are doing what I'm doing. There are some attorneys now that are moving to like a subscription service model for some of the things they do, which I think is smart, which is similar to what I'm doing. But I'm trying to make I've been using this app a lot recently, and I think I've been learning a lot of how I would want to make this more fun, but like the Duolingo for attorneys of learning how to draft agreements and, resolve disputes, not for attorneys, but, give people that are starting a business the general info and knowledge of how to do those things in a way that's fun, like Duolingo with games and prizes, which Skool is really good for. And the communities that are engaging on Skool are good at doing that as well.
I think it's a wonderful idea. And I think, yes, most people should be searching to see if they have a niche that someone else has. And even if they have it, you just have to be a little bit better. Or I always tell people, it's not even better. Not everyone's going to resonate with someone. Something won't be right for somebody. The energy is not right, so they won't get involved with working with that person. But you're in that niche, they resonate with you, boom, they're going to join your community, they're going to get involved, and they'll enjoy it because that's what's out there. So don't be afraid. Those that are watching, if you have multiple people involved, like I see from my insurance side, I see insurance people, there's real estate agents that have stuff. There's a guy doing pickleball, making some sick, like
Yeah.
$42,000 a month teaching about pickleball. Like, so there's an opportunity that for anyone, if you just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I agree because just to briefly add on to that, like you said, you can figure out a way to make a community for anything you're interested in, right? Like there are people that do pickleball or skiing or things like that. And, 20 years ago, there would have never been a way for you to figure out how to make a community and potentially monetize that. But then also with things that like law or accounting or things that are traditionally very boring, but that you need to learn or have someone to do if you're starting a business. Uh, you know, there are now, I don't think there's that many people doing it yet if it's something you want to do, but there are ways now for you to say, hey, I can't provide tailored legal services or CPA help at a cheap rate, but I can make learning these basic skills fun and enjoyable for people that are starting a business. I could make a school for this. And that was kind of my thought process behind it, at least.
And with that, it's like you're housing. I would highly recommend doing video. Video is powerful. A lot of people might do some PDFs. They might have, the text type of thing. But I think a lot of people learn better if they're seeing it from someone and also they're hearing it. And then you have a library at your fingertips inside your community. A lot of people go and, I'm going to make a lot of money creating courses and that type of, which you can. But a lot of people want that culture. They want to have the posting. They want to have the short little content videos. That's what I've been reaching out to my community and saying, hey, I have my 20-minute videos inside my classroom. Some of you went through them. Some of you didn't. What can I do differently? And a lot of them like, can you bite it, chunk them down? Can you bring them down to like a minute to maybe a 5-minute max that you can get the same value from, but shorter time frame? I'm like, dude, I'm down. So I did something recently, and everyone was engaging with it. I'm like, that's looking out and reaching out to your community and finding out what they want, not always what you want. That's what I've found as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. That's something I've been learning as well, reaching out to the community itself and seeing what ideas they have to make it, more engaging or so they can abstract more value from it. It's a great idea and instead of just staying in your own head and trying to figure out what you think is right.
Now, here's a question is, being an attorney, you're basically an entrepreneur, right? You are basically, you don't have a guaranteed income, or you have the ability to sign up, get involved with becoming a partner, and you have salary. How does that work?
Well, so most attorneys my age probably work at a firm. I started doing my own thing like a year after working at a firm. Some attorneys start right after law school. I'm speaking with one kid that's thinking of doing that. It's a lot harder to do because law is a professional service, right? So if you're doing marketing or sales or something, you can start a business and say, hey, I'm pretty new. I'll do it for free for a review or for cheap, et cetera, and build it that way. For law, you have to reach like this minimum level of competency very quickly because you can't be like, oh, I'm a new lawyer. I don't really know what I'm doing, but just I'll do it for free, right? So you can't start the business that way. But anyway, I started pretty early, but I worked with a lot of attorneys at like a contractor basis. And now I'm still work with, a variety of attorneys, but also work with all my own clients. So I'm pretty independent. So yeah, I'm not W-2, don't plan on ever being again, but, have my own kind of thing going. And through that process, I did life coaching, e-commerce, like remote sales, like closing. I was trying to find my way and, was trying all these different online ways. I saw you can make money. But yeah, pretty much off of my own now. So building this, but yeah, most attorneys I'd say my age are at a firm, but if their firm lets them, they usually can't do work outside, but maybe they could start doing other things to market themselves, creating a school, making a LinkedIn presence, that type of thing.
You can actually, and I appreciate you sharing that. You can actually become, if you're in Skool, is an affiliate for Skool. So
Yeah.
I'm in communities that I make money on. I'm a top earner in one community. I have my own community, and I'm an admin for a free one that I'm personally involved in. And then you can earn money for those that are whatever sharing your link. And I always teach people we're not about sharing links. We're about, giving an experience, sharing what's going to happen. Hey, can I have you take a look at, I share them a website or I share them a video, and then inside the video has a link to go to. But that's what I found is, beneficial on my end.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just off that, I would say, yeah, I mean, I think that is, a valuable way to promote communities, also make your own money. But I feel like an issue that I have, and maybe more traditional professions have, but also I think it's like a broader issue right now, is that things like school and courses have gotten a bad rep because of
Right.
all these 21-year-old kids renting Lamborghinis, making Instagram DM ads saying, buy my course to get rich, and have never made any money outside of selling that course. And I think that's unfortunately kind of tarnished selling any information, a little bit for a lot of the mainstream public. And I mean, what I would say there is, right, you obviously pay for college, university, that's an insane amount of money. But even outside of that, a lot of in-person things people do, they pay for a tennis class. They might pay for pickleball in person, but for some reason they have an aversion to paying for the pickleball online community, right? It's like, for some, maybe you think differently, but I feel like the average person in their mind paying for like a course now or information online just automatically triggers scam in their head. There's kind of like an issue with that and getting more people engaged.
That's what kind of got me on this change of pace as far as bringing different guests on to educate. The education is lacking out there. Even my parents were like, "You're doing an." I'm a full-time teacher as well, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're doing some online stuff." I'm like, "You actually make money online. It's a pyramid scheme." And I'm like, "Dad, you were in car sales. You were a salesperson. You had no money guaranteed. You had commission only. That the owner of the company made all the money, and it trickles down to the menial ones that are doing all the work." I said, "What's wrong with me promoting things and sharing and actually earning a recurring income from it?"
Yeah.
Well, it's just a scam. I'm like, that's another. I want to educate. I want to teach and share. Like, it's not just me because they won't listen to me, but they hear it from others. They're like, "Oh, okay." Like I had Brian Crothers on, and guy's a multimillionaire, and he's a network marketer with Legal Shield. They're like, "Oh, wow." And he wrote a book, a couple books, very powerful, down to earth guy, was on my podcast. And they're like, "Wow, he took time out of his day. He wants to help people." That's what we can do with something online. Like you talked about the remote that you had some issues, I guess, in the past, right? With the remote businesses that you tried in your past.
Well, so I wouldn't say issues. It was more like trying to figure out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create, right? I kind of just feel like I was at the point where I just hated a 9-to-5 job. So I was like, I can't do this. So I started Ubering, to be honest, to make initial cash flow, and then was like, maybe I'll do coaching, get my own legal work, this, that, sell t-shirts. I was doing way too many things, but I learned a lot from them. So then I, wanted to consolidate and then scale out. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, for me, it was more, I was doing too many things. I wanted to focus on building something I wanted to build. And it was like an experimental phase. But I guess in the remote closing space, that's also where I got into this space of, all right, they want me to sell this course for like 8K, and there's no guarantees, no refunds, and they want you to like push people to buy this. And I'm like, this is a little, in my opinion, it's all about the offer and transparency, right? So you could have no experience with something and say to someone, "Hey, I don't have any experience in this, but I see you're starting a business. I have an idea of doing this. I'll do it for free or for cheap if you give me a review." Nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with being a 30-year-old veteran in real estate space and selling real estate courses for a lot of money because you have that experience and if you're transparent about what's in the course. The issue is these people just say, "Give me 10K immediately." There's no indication of anything that's in the course, what you're going to
Right.
get. And they just have very good salesmen trying to manipulate you to buy that. And I think that model has kind of pushed everyone away from being like everything online's a scam, like, because of the people doing that, at least
Right.
in my opinion.
No, I definitely agree. And what I heard from Andrew was saying that he was in a lot of things, guys. Everyone tries different things, but he was learning from it. That's a key thing. You never lose. People say, "Oh, network marketing, you don't make money in it." Well, if you tried it, you actually did something, you might have some income from it. But a lot of people come in with the wrong expectations and don't want to do anything. They think they pay their $100, $50, their $500. Oh, I'm not making all this money yet. Well, you just paid for it. You didn't implement any of the strategies that they tell you about in the back office. You're just hoping to make money instead of putting yourself in a position to allow that to happen. There's skills, there's foundations, there's things that you should be doing to allow you to have the income.
And you don't learn most of these skills in school.
Right.
The regular school. This school you can learn some with the K. But that's one thing people don't realize. They just think, "Oh, maybe I could start a business, but it's luck. I have this." And it's like, it's really not luck. It's not more luck than anything is luck. Most people don't have the time to commit 5-10 years plus of learning how to do this and not making a consistent income. So they try it for 2 years when they have a mortgage and all these obligations, and then they can't do it. So they say they failed, but they just never learned how to do it, basically.
Now, what's your plan for Skool in the next 6 months? Do you have things? Have you been really reflecting on what you've been doing and where you want to go?
Yeah. So, my end goal with it is, again, I want to have my like one-to-one tailored services and ideally really high level, just be like in 20 years flown out to random places, being the deal and dispute guy to resolve disputes and negotiate deals. But in terms of Skool, I want to build this very big community for all these new entrepreneurs that have no idea how to put in writing the basics for their business partners and their clients. Like, obviously it's better if you have a lawyer draft it, but you need to know what's the decision making, what's my equity, what are the roles and responsibilities, exit terms, and like basic things like that. And the issue with AI is you don't know this stuff. Like, if you just say write agreement, it's not going to know the context, right? So there's nothing wrong with using AI, but you need to know the basics to plug into AI, not just, if you want to use only AI, you should at least say, what are the key provisions of agreements in this context, and like learn a little bit before just, kind of raw dogging it.
Right.
But going back to my community. So, my end goal is to help kind of new business owners, because there's more people making online businesses now than ever. I think it'll only increase as well with this like foundational skill set to help prevent disputes by having clear terms in writing and also strategies to resolve disputes. And I want to make that fun. And with games, I'm trying to do mock calls with people, like mock dispute calls, deal closing calls, like, negotiations and things like that. I think that's fun. Try to make it fun. And then also hire a team that I train to help me kind of moderate it and teach people.
Love it, man. That's fantastic. Dude, is there any final thoughts that you can share for those that are just starting out, getting inside of Skool? What are the first 3 things that they should start doing if they join today? They joined Skool in general, and they don't know what to do. What should they do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to broadened out slightly to starting a business generally, but I think Skool's a great platform to get started and try to gain some traction as well. But I think if you have no idea what to do, you should either try to figure out something you really enjoy, or find something you're already good at, right? And ideally try to combine those things, right, in different ways. The issue with a lot of traditional jobs, unless you're in sales or something similar to that, you don't really know the value of what you do outside of the big system that you're in, so you can't really sell it one-to-one in an easy way, right? So it's kind of hard for people to think about. So my recommendation to start is, what do I really like? It could be random things, snowboarding, etc. What am I good at? Doesn't have to be job, like high level. I like speaking to people. I'm good at this. Whatever your soft skills are, some hard skills as well, and figure out, how to get better at those, combine it, start connecting with people, and, kind of translate those skills into being able to help people. I feel like I didn't give a good 1, 2, 3 framework on what they should do, but that was kind of the first thing that came to mind.
Hey, you came across perfect. I think we gained massive value from what you were sharing in our conversation today. I want to remind everyone, make sure you go into the description and connect with Andrew. Definitely have a call, see what he's all about, build a relationship, get into his community. I also want to remind people to subscribe to this channel, look at the playlist at the end of this video, and share this video, because we want to help as many people as possible. So without them doing that, it will, we'll get to our goals, sooner if you help us. That's what we're always looking at, for those type of people, action takers out there. But Andrew, stick around for another moment. Everyone else, I want to thank Andrew for coming with us today and sharing. And for those that are watching, have yourself an amazing rest of your day.